Evening. Welcome to Larry Rinker Golf Live. Hope you're having a great week. It is PGA Championship week. And here we are, Larry Rinker Golf Live. I'm pleased to announce that I've got a new book that came out on Tuesday, The Journeyman, and really excited about it. It's really how a veteran tour player found the swing after 50 years. If you'd like to get a copy, go to LarryRinker.com, and my guest tonight wrote one of the testimonials for me, 11-time PGA Tour winner, Mr. John Cook. And Johnny, always great to catch up with you, buddy. We've known each other over 40 years now. It's pretty crazy.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And congratulations on your book right there at The Journeyman. It's fantastic. It's a great read, so I encourage everybody to go get it. It's good fun. It's right along the lines of the PGA Tour.
Well, and for people that are our generation, it really kind of reminds us of what we went through with junior golf and college golf and getting on tour and what tour was like in the early 80s.
Definitely.
We actually bought our lunch and might have had to pay for our range balls.
Yeah, we got it. We know we got, when we checked in and paid our entry fee, we got half off of script.
Right.
$50 of script for $25 that we could use in the clubhouse. So, and paid $3 a bucket for range balls. So you saved your range balls all week.
Yeah, I remember playing in the Buick Open in 1981, and they had cold cuts in the locker room, and I was like, "Wow, this is great."
We've hit the big time now. Tournament cards and everything.
You know, it really is kind of my journey, but I think it's not my journey. It was your journey. It's everyone's journey to finding your natural swing and what's going to work under pressure.
100%, exactly right. And you know, I was fortunate enough to meet Ken Venturi at a very young age, at 14 years old, and work with him until he couldn't physically do it anymore, but still loved to talk to him and pick his brain, you know, for, you know, close to 40 years of my life. So I was very lucky, as you were with your great people that you worked with. And you know, that's what we do. We're always searching for that thing that, you know, you close your eyes and it's going to work.
I think you meeting Venturi at 14 and me meeting Bob Toski at 18, 19 years old, they really taught us how to play. We had a pretty good game, but how do you hit it low? How do you hit it high? How do you hook it? How do you draw it? How do you stand up on 18 at Pebble Beach and make a swing where you know it's not going left?
Yep, 100%.
Those are the kind of things that they taught us. And I love that story, the first time you worked with Venturi. Tell that story about your first lesson with Kenny Venturi.
Yeah, without going into, you know, the backstory on how my father met Ken through auto racing, but he set up a meeting. We had joined his country club, new country club there at Mission Hills, where they play the A&A Inspiration. The old Dinosaur was there as well. We were members at that club, and my dad asked Kenny if he would meet with me. I have got, you know, kind of a good young player. My son's, you know, 14 years old, he's a pretty good player. Would you take a look at him? And Kenny was nice enough to take a look at it. And he had some work to do in his office, and he told me to run down to the practice tee. And at that time, there was only the practice range. There was no Dinosaur course or nothing else. So there was just sand dunes around the Mission Hills practice area. And he asked me to go around and pitch the balls back into the practice area, so the range picker can pick the golf balls up, because the membership there could, you know, they could hit it sideways sometimes, and there was some balls on the left, balls on the right. And sure enough, I walked around the practice range and pitched the balls back into the range. And you know, then he told me to meet him on the left corner of the tee over there. That was kind of his teaching area. And you know, and then we got to work. But about 25 years later, he told me the story that what he did is he got in his golf cart, went around the range shed, and hid behind the range shed to see if I was going to do what he asked me to do. And when he saw me doing that, he knew that I was going to listen to him. And so he trusted me. Of course, I trusted him. And then from then on, he gave me everything he possibly could have given me.
Yeah, well, I think really when someone becomes a pretty good player, I think it's really important that we meet somebody that played the tour.
100%.
And you have an opportunity. And Bob Tosky was teaching. He had started the Golf Digest schools in the mid to early 70s. I see him in 76, so he's only been doing this a few years, but he's into teaching kind of like I'm doing now. And here's a guy that was leading money winner in 1954
Right.
in the era of the Hogans and the Sneeds.
Right.
And I had him. I had him
Yeah.
teach me how to play, take me out on the golf course, and do a
That
lot
was
of
the key.
things.
That was the key, Larry, right there is Kenny, through our whole time together, unless I really needed some work, I would just warm up, and then we would just go play golf. And I would pick his brain. I would ask questions. I would notice things, where he teed the ball up, the shot that he tried to play, why he tried to play it. And that was just invaluable, through, how many years that we worked together. I never stopped picking his brain. But the interesting thing, Larry, and I'm sure it was with Mr. Tosky as well, is the message never changed. It was the same from the first couple of weeks that I worked with Ken Venturi to 40 years later. Was the same messages every single time. It was very consistent. It was never hey, I read about this, let's try this.
Right.
It was never that way. I had 3 or 4 little swing keys, and that's what we worked on. And then we went to the golf course and played.
Well, one thing I find interesting about your swing is you definitely turned your right hip and kind of pivoted around your left side of your body and had kind of a short swing. And it's interesting watching this tee shot. Looks like you're in your Zeppelin jeans here. And notice how you stand up and are not very rotated at impact, which is upper core. And I bet Kenny never ever mentioned to you about clearing your hips.
He never did. What he would have me do is, get that right hip out of the way, turn, get your upper body turned and rotated. You notice that my swing is short, but my shoulders have made at least a 90-degree turn.
Right.
And so, like you said, I kind of held with my lower body. I turned with my core, like you said, and he said, get to that left knee, post up on that left knee, and everything else will just fall into place. Just let your arms and your hands be there along for the ride. Keep your upper body turning, rotating, keep your shoulders moving, and just let your let your arms and your hands just drop and turn and be along for the ride. They don't need to do anything else.
Well, the upper core swing, which I am, and which is pretty amazing that most of my students are upper core. If you watch my swing, you're going to see how I turn my right hip and kind of pivot around the left side of my body here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to have the club on plane, and I'm going to stand up like you are and not be very rotated with the hips, and the arms and hands go past, and that pulls me around to my finish. And if we look at Webb Simpson, who's been playing great.
Yes, he has.
He's upper core. And if you look at his swing, look at that right hip starting with the club. So he has a pivot like you have. He has a little cup in his left wrist there like you have.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then when he comes through, look, he's not rotated at all.
No, he's just turned. Yeah,
he's letting that club go past him. And I tell you what, not many people have played better golf than he has the last 2-3 years.
No doubt about it. He's hitting it solid. He's driving it pretty long too. They think that Webb is kind of one of the shorter hitters. I beg to differ. He can move it out there, and he's a wonderful iron player. And you can tell why. He's very, very simple. Not a lot of moving parts, and that's what Kenny really wanted, was not a lot of moving parts, but the efficiency and the athleticism take over, and the fundamentals. And Webb Simpson right there, really looks good.
So you said you had 3 or 4 keys with Kenny. One was get the right hip out of the way on the backswing, right?
Correct. One was get the right hip out of the way on the backswing, stay in your flex.
Right.
Just turn your shoulders back to the target, and then turn and rotate through and get to that left knee, and let your arms and your hands just drop in and just keep turning. That was it. Basically,
But you're whipping it a lot with those hands. You're getting a lot of speed with that rip and that release. And look how good that face looks there.
Yeah,
Look
and that's from,
looks.
like you said, that's from upper core turn and just letting everything else just kind of follow. And the faster you turn and rotate, that's where those hands and those arms just follow, right down the line and keep turning to the finish. Keep going.
Well, I beg to differ with that because I really believe you're doing more of, I don't have a face on of you, but I believe you're getting the club past you and bringing you around.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you look more like that face on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But the thing is, we all learn a feel to hit shots, and then we go trust that feel, don't we?
That's true. Yep, exactly. And you work on that. So
you maybe felt like some people do, like my brother Lee does, that you're kind of rotating through the ball, but you forget how good you are with your arms, hands, and wrists letting it go.
Yeah, I mean, as you go through, exactly. I mean,
something a lot of amateurs don't do very well.
Yeah, well, they'll either come from the inside and throw.
But look at that. Look at how fast that club head's moving, and you're doing that with your arms and hands and wrist.
Yep, and posting up on that left knee.
Yeah,
getting those hips and that left knee just posted and let everything else follow right along.
Yeah, but it's interesting how you probably weren't like me where you worked with all these different teachers. I know you worked a little bit with the stack and tilt guys who like that front post pivot, which is really what you do.
Yeah, I kind of observed them a little bit more than actually worked with them. I thought that they had some interesting things. There's some parts of that I didn't really like. There's some parts of it that I did take into consideration. And it was kind of old school stuff a little bit, to a point, but not the whole thing. But worked a little bit with Mike Mitchell, a little bit with Brian Mogg, and now with Jamie Mulligan, who watched, oh gosh, hours of my sessions with Ken Venturi in Southern California. So you kind of you know what you need to do and what you're trying to feel, like you said, and the rest of it you just kind of filter through and kind of let it go out. But there's a couple things that might hit you that go, oh, you know what, that sounds very familiar to what I was doing, way back when. So nothing wrong with that.
Well, what I like that you're doing, and I really think the best students do this, is you kind of have an understanding of what you do, and you don't eat the whole enchilada when you work with somebody. You hear things and you might pick up 1 or 2 things, but you don't try and do everything they say.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Say, hey, okay, I like that 1 thing, or that's 2 things, and that's enough. And you own your swing. You own what you're doing versus trying to be the teacher's pet and do everything they ask you to do.
100%. You're exactly right. Yep. Especially when you get to that point, and you what you're really looking for is what are the 1 or 2 things that I can think about during the round of golf. If something goes awry, if something goes, something's not going quite right, what can I go back to quickly that's going to correct, the misses? And what can I trust when I get on the 16th, 17th, 18th tee when I got a chance to win, or I need to hit a good shot? What is that 1 key that I know is going to work? And that's, simplifying your thoughts and getting back into the moment and into the present.
Well, you just remind me of the Canadian Open. I think you were in a playoff with Johnny Miller.
Yeah, I was. It was I had to birdie the 18th hole at Glen Abbey, and I drove it down there to where I had the old 1-iron was in the bag, and now you're not going to that green with a 6 or 7 iron. You're going in that green with a 1-iron at Glen Abbey, and probably the best shot I ever hit in my life under those circumstances. I need to make birdie to get in a playoff with Johnny Miller, and Jack Nicklaus finished a shot back. So I'll never forget that shot. It came off exactly the way I pictured it, the way I felt it. I was confident in it, and I had that one swing thought, whatever it was, I don't really remember, but I know one thing. It was one iron took off straight up in the air. It looked like Tom Weiskopf was hitting that shot straight up in the air, and it flew just right in the middle of the green, rolled right by the hole. Then two putted for birdie, and that was it.
And you won on 16 in the playoff?
We went 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, and I won on 18 again.
You won an 18, 6-hole playoff with the great Johnny Miller.
Yes, I had my chances. Then he had his chance the second time around, 17. He had about a 12-footer to win, and I'm going, oh my God, I've done this, and I had 4 chances to win. And now he's going to win, and he missed it, and I knew I needed to end it in the next hole.
Well, your first win, which I believe was 1981 at the Bing Crosby, you were in a 5-way playoff there.
Oh yeah, yep, 5-way playoff. I mean, I think you might remember that year.
Hale Irwin, Bobby Clampett.
Ben Crenshaw. And if anybody out there knows the fifth, they get a free book from LarryRinker.com.
Barney Thompson?
Barney Thompson was it. That's one of the great trivia questions of my life was who was the fifth player in that? And, you know, Barney had gotten done early. He was in the very first group out on one. I mean, everybody finished all over the place. We finished on Monday all over the place. So I finished.
What was the first playoff hole?
Number 1 at Pebble. They said, okay, if you get close to the playoff, we're going to Pebble Beach. We're just going to play number 1, and we're going to go till we're going to play 1, 2, 3, whatever it's going to be. Clampett and I and Hale Irwin birdied the first, and then Irwin and I birdied the second, and then I luckily I had 2 putts to win from 4 feet on number 3, putting for birdie, and I had to wiggle in about an 18-incher. I tried to jimmy one down there and run up and tap it in, but it speed lipped on number 3. You remember that hole and that whole location. And last thing you want on Pointer Greens is a speed lip, and it went by about a foot and a half. And I said, I need to finish this, because if I mark this, I don't need to want to be thinking about this putt.
Well, you had a lot of success at Pebble Beach. I think you won a state amateur there. You won a Champions Tour event there. It's a special place. When you were a junior and an amateur at Ohio State, they used to have the Cal State Amateur there almost every year, didn't they?
They did. We played the state amateur there. I think it went on to a rotation not too long ago, maybe 10 years ago when it started to rotate. But we played that year that I won in 1975. We played Cypress Point and Pebble Beach for our medal play, then went back to Pebble Beach for the 54-hole medal play, and then went into match play. So it was pretty special. It was pretty special to be playing Pebble Beach and Cypress Point for your state amateur. I think the entry fee was like $25 or something. So it was crazy. Yeah.
So it's PGA Championship week. You're doing a lot of work with Golf Channel. You're covering the PGA Tour champions. You're doing morning drive all this week. We've got Jason Day currently leading at 5 under par. We got 8, 9 players at 4 under, including Brooks Koepka and Justin Rose. Tiger shot 2 under this morning, just 3 back. What are your thoughts on Harding Park and what we should expect here in the next 3 days?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. I won the Charles Schwab Cup Championship at Harding Park in 2010. So I remember that week. That's where Ken Venturi actually grew up and learned to play golf. So I was picking his brain the whole going into the event and all the way during and through the event. We would talk every night. He told me the keys to playing Harding Park, of course, is keep the ball hole high. Shape your driver the correct way. If you don't see the right one, don't try to force things. But he said that there's 6 key holes to play, that you need to get through these 6 key holes. And I managed to do that. The key holes were, I think, were number 2, number 6, number 8, on the backside was like 12, 13, 14 was a great little kind of stretch there, and then 18. If you play those holes solid, you don't have to kill it, but if you play those holes around even par, there's plenty of other holes and opportunities to make birdies, and I played those holes pretty well. So that's what to look for at TPC Harding Park right now. Jason Day looked great today. His golf swing looked really tight. It looked like there was no effort at all, that he was just playing golf, which was great to see. And of course, you know, the chasers all, they look like they know what they're doing around there. It's a wonderful little golf course right next to the ocean. It's right there. Maybe
Next to Olympic.
Yeah, Olympic Club right there. You've been around there. Lake Merced, San Francisco
Yep.
Golf, all around Lake Merced itself. Wonderful golf right in that little area right there. That little pocket's
incredible golf.
wonderful.
So they've rerouted the course. I worked the President's Cup there in 09 for Sirius XM,
Right.
where I think they made the 18th hole the 15th hole because they figured how many matches are going to get to 18.
Right.
And they played it as a par 4 in the President's Cup, but I think that's a par 5 finishing hole for the PGA this week, isn't it?
No, they turned it into a 4.
Oh, it's a 4.
Yeah, number 9 is a par 4, and 18. What a wonderful finishing hole right there.
Got the dog leg left around the lake.
Exactly. Right. Yep. They got those 2 bunkers out there to the right that kind of turn the golf hole. You know, the beast mode Bryson DeChambeau's will try to take it right over those cypress trees. But you know what? You better not hit it in one of those trees, because those trees might gobble up that golf ball. They have a tendency to eat those golf balls alive. But it's a wonderful finishing hole. A lot of drama coming down the stretch. A great mix of long par 4s. Almost every hole is shaped. You got to do.
Right.
It's mostly a right to left type of golf course. So you do have to shape your tee shots, and you can't be going over those cypress trees. They're right there, right in your way. It seems like they're right off the tee.
So what do you think of Bryson DeChambeau? Gained 40 pounds. He hit it 423 on number 1 at Memorial a few weeks ago. He's won probably more than anybody in the last 12, 15 months.
Yes, he has.
Pretty
incredible.
incredible.
Yeah, it's we've been talking a lot about it, and he's trying to play golf a different way, kind of the smash and grab, and that's that. Hey, if that feels like that's the way he wants to work it, that's fine. I was kind of reserving judgment for about 6 to 8 weeks or 6 to 8 tournaments down the line, because that body is big, and I mean, you just don't know what he's carrying, and if his body can support, if his legs and knees, hips can support, the weight that he's distributing right now. But I'll tell you what, it's pretty impressive, and he does things his own way. Bryson is that guy. He's the mad scientist, and when he's on, if he gets hot with the driver this week, and he's not afraid to hit driver anyway, he'll hit it every time every chance that he gets. So, if he gets hot with the driver, he'll be a force. There's no doubt about it. But if it starts going crooked, even as strong as he is, it's going to be difficult to play from the rough. That's for sure.
Well, your good friend Mark O'Meara, surrogate father to Tiger Woods for a lot of years.
Yeah.
7 majors in the next 12 months. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to Tiger, but how healthy do you think he is?
Just looking, I don't talk to him that much anymore. We'll text back and forth. I haven't been down to see him in Florida in a while, but we do chat on occasion. I'm just checking in, and he says all systems go, that he's healthy enough that he's able to train. He's healthy enough that he's able to hit balls and work on his game. He has gone to a longer putter this week because it helps him be able to stand a little more upright and over the ball to practice putt, because he used to put 3-4 hours in on the practice putting green there at Isleworth before major championships, and that was nothing for him. But it's tough for him to do that now, so he's gone to a little bit longer putter so he can stand up a little bit taller, take that take the relief off his back a little bit. I like what I see in his golf swing. I think it's pretty simple. When we talk about not a lot of moving parts, I think he's doing things pretty much on his own. He has an idea of exactly where he wants the golf club to go, and he looks pretty efficient. Today he looked a little competitive rustiness in there. He hit some pretty nice iron shots when he gave himself opportunities. We always talk to him about, hole high, get the ball to hole high. When you want the ball to check and hold, not check and spin. And he's been a master at that through his career. I think that's why he's been better than anybody else as far as an iron player. He's always hole high. So when he gives himself opportunities off the tee, gets the ball in the fairway, he knows exactly what to do from there. And once he kind of got comfortable with where he was and started driving the ball in the fairway, he took advantage of it coming down the stretch. So that was nice to see. So what I like to see in his game is, a little bit more consistency and getting that competitive rust out, which it's not easy to do when you play, once every couple months and they just happen to be majors. It's tough. It's not enough.
I don't think he played as much as he wanted to leading into this week. Do you?
I agree. No, I agree. I would have loved to have seen him play maybe last week,
right,
at Memphis, just to get competitive. 4 rounds of golf nobody would really care how he played, but he would certainly know right where his game was. So, hopefully, I thought, and I said early last week, hopefully he had gotten to the West Coast early enough to acclimate himself to the Seaside Point Greens, to the chilly, marine layer. It's not down there in South Florida, down there at Medalist. It's not 90 degrees and humid.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So I think that he got acclimated pretty well, and we'll see where he goes from Friday on.
Well, I think it's going to be an exciting week. It's pretty amazing that we have the PGA next month, U.S. Open at Winged Foot, and then the Masters in November, and then the Masters again in April, and then we hit our, the Players Championship in March, Masters, PGA in May, U.S. Open June, July, British Open. Lots of majors coming up.
Wow.
Tiger, what's he, 3 behind? He's got 15?
Yeah, he's got 15, and
he's got 3. He's got 7 in the next 12 months. So
I'll tell you what. I did talk to him last year after Augusta, and even like the year before when he was making this comeback, and he had told me that, I asked him how he was doing, how he felt, and he said, "Hey, John," he called me JC. "Hey, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't feel like I had a chance."
Wow.
He wouldn't be playing what the schedule that he did in 2018 if he felt that he didn't have a chance to do that.
Right.
And so he needed that 15th just to show everybody that he could still do it. And he wouldn't be out there right now if he didn't think he could do it. I promise you, he would have moved on and have been, happy as can be. But he knows he's got a chance.
No, and it's going to be exciting coming up here, with what we have, with what's left on the schedule. And it's been great having you on the show, Johnny. And
my pleasure.
People want to follow you, they can follow you on Instagram at JNCookOSU. You're a Buckeye. You bleed Buckeyes.
Yes, I do.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Titleist FootJoy, the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club Orlando, and the Red Sky Golf Club in Vail, Colorado. And just remind everybody, my new book came out on Tuesday, The Journeyman. John, you were kind enough to write a nice testimonial for me. You were there for the whole ride.
Yes, we were. We were doing it together.
But people can find that at LarryRinker.com. Well, Johnny, always great to catch up with you, my friend, and enjoy the PGA this week and the majors coming up, and all the best to you.
My pleasure, Larry Rinker. Rink, we've known each other a long time. Anytime, pal. Anytime.
All right. Well, that's John Cook, 11-time PGA Tour winner. You're listening to Larry Rinker Golf Live. Till next week, keep swinging.